Hello, I'm a gust of wind. This is Into the Toad. There's a story about the gods all getting together, having dinner. One of them says, I'm going to go exploring. I'm going to go out for an adventure. And the other gods laugh at him and say, what for? No, there's nothing else. You're already here. We have everything. And they mock him. But he goes out anyway. And when he finally returns, he tells them that he found a place so amazing that it's revived him, rejuvenated him. He said, there's a place out there where you can feel fear and shame and guilt and anger and doubt. He said, it's incredible, these feelings. And the other gods were intrigued and went out and also joined him. And they, of course, came to where we are. It was such a thrill to have the ability to feel these things because you have to forget your true power to really feel these things. If you have to really play the game all in, you have to forget the truth. The truth is none of it matters. None of it carries any weight. How could it? What would be the consequence? Where are you carrying this significance to? We're living and we're dying, and then what? How is this significant for us in any way? It just all ends. We see it all around us. Because if if nothing matters at all, does that cheapen the experience of life? Does that ruin it? It's you could make an argument for that because you're you're in it. You're convinced that it's all very significant, very important, very consequential. So of course the initial reaction is going to be, well, being insulted, offended. Well, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It's very, my kids matter. My home, my business. It's all terribly important. How dare you? How dare you? That's the defensive posturing. That's where you get, when you start to get close to the truth, you get violent pushback. It gets pretty intense. It's when you go into the medicine and you are shown this reality, you will not want to accept it. You've been conditioned, and this is all you know. This is all we know. Everything's really important. Everything matters. Everything's high stress. Everything's urgent. Everything must be done. And I must be better. And I must be better tomorrow. And I must keep going. But to where? What is the objective? It sounds like you cheapen the entire experience when you say none of it matters. None of it will ever matter. No, and none of it ever did. But we add this little detail that the love is real. That exists in this place. It doesn't matter in the sense that it's consequential, that it has some kind of value, that if it's somebody steals it from you, you have to fight for it. That's not really where it is. But it's reality, this love. Your mother loved you. That was real. It's still real. But none of the rest of it really happened. So none of this experience has any consequence or significance. But the love, and you know what that is, you can't explain it. No one can, but it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's the driving force of our lives. And it's not really talked about in the sense of what it is because we don't know, but it's here. And it's also in the medicine. In fact, it is the medicine. I'm becoming convinced that all these health benefits and just glowing effects is love. I think being in on this path for years, I've learned that I have fallen in love, but there's no object of my love anymore. It's more evidence that it can't be taken away. It doesn't need a target. It's it can just happen. So everything that we worry about, it it's interesting. It can be entertaining. It can be aggravating. It's you're engaged in it, in this career, in this relationship, in this mission that you're on, whatever you've chosen to do. But it's a sidebar to the actual experience, which is the love. I don't think I would have listened to someone saying this and believed it or accepted it in any way. So this whole exercise, as usual, is completely meaningless. Talk about inconsequential. But I can say that when you are shown this and you accept it, there is no more knee jerk reaction of offense and defensiveness and how dare you. It makes sense. And you can't see it any other way ever again. A lot of the lessons in the Toad are irreversible. So there's always this, when I used to talk to people and proselytize about the benefits of this medicine, everyone I cared about, I wanted them to have it. And I thought that was important, and I thought that's what I had to do. And the whole thing was none of it ever worked. Who the hell am I to tell people this? And you can't even explain it anyway. And how would I even know what their life is or what the medicine would do to them? I don't know, but I would tell them that going to change you. And the eyebrows go up and the shoulders go back. And what are you talking about? I remember one friend, and he needs it. One of these drinkers who, I don't know how they function. I mean, they don't consider themselves a drinker, but they drink like people do in their 20s. They're in their 50s. I don't know how the body holds up, but heavy drinking and not angry or unhealthy or all these other stereotypical things that we associate with the alcoholic. They've managed to, people, the capacity that humans have, the variety of capacities, it's astounding what people can do, what they're equipped to handle. And my friend had just got a new job or a promotion or something, and was for the first time in his life making really good money without any like liabilities. His kid was grown and all that stuff. And he's been talking, he brings it up. He's talking about it all the time. Every time we speak, he wants to do it. So it's not like I'm beating him over the head with it. So I will offer my thoughts on it. But he said the last time he said, he said, I really want to do it, but I can't. I'm just making too much money right now. And he didn't know how funny that was. I didn't laugh at him, but it's hysterical to me that the idea of change is so terrifying. I mean, there he is hustling 12, 13, 14 hours a day for someone else, but his paycheck is bigger than it's ever been. And he's, all these, he's winning. And it's so delicate that, what if he would, he even said something along the lines of, he said, if I would just become that happy, he said, I wouldn't be able to do this anymore. And he's speaking truth, but he's speaking it from a position of someone who doesn't have any notion of what the truth means. He can say the words. If I was happy, I wouldn't have the energy to do this. I mean, imagine, how can something trump happiness? How can happiness not be the objective? And we all have that argument. I'll hear it. Everybody's thinking it right now. You don't understand, man. I got kids. I got bills. I got responsibilities. I got an ex. I got alimony. I got a whatever. You think you're better equipped being unhappy and miserable than being happy? That our fear of change is it's what this is all about. It's what I went into the medicine with. Fear. I was afraid of everything. I didn't know what I was afraid of. The medicine showed me right away, you're afraid of dying. You're afraid because you don't understand what the hell is going on. You don't even know what you are. Grown man. It's pathetic. It's pathetic that a society exists that considers itself the most advanced civilization ever to happen. None of its people are taught this, what they are. Your capabilities aren't exposed until you're happy and relaxed and calm and at peace. Then you find out what you can do. This grinding mentality and bad sleep and half the day use stimulants, half the day use depressants and bad food and no love. No love in the food, no love in the exercise of effort throughout the day. No love. If you ever meet someone who truly loves what they do, you see they love their life. They love themselves. They love this experience. They are most likely not wealthy, although that it does happen, but It doesn't really, that's not significant. That's not a detail that needs to be addressed. Who cares? I have kids. Well, what if those kids grew up around someone who's just happy all the time? Is that a disadvantage? Oh, well, you might not get into Stanford. Oh, who cares? What? If you experience happiness, you'll see the hollowness of what's disguised as happiness and success all around you. It's just this thing that's propped up like those old Western movies where it's just a facade and there's two by fours propped behind it to keep that facade up to let you think that's a building as long as you look at it from one angle. The medicine, you walk around it the whole way. You walk around everything. You see all the angles. It's unsettling, but it's necessary if, and this is where I think the population of people who will make the effort really becomes diminished, is if you really want it. Knowing what you want is part of the happiness stew. It just it bubbles up when you can. For me, it was facing the fear, which then released me from all these other quasi fears, ersatz fears, things that were driving my decisions, which I didn't understand and I was afraid to look at. Once you face the actual fear, which is yourself, you're generating this fear, and humans, we can sit you in a on a comfortable couch in a locked home, and the fear's still there. Why is that? If you put a cat in that house, they're not afraid of the predator. They're sleeping. They're lounging, taking a nap, having some food, capable of a peaceful existence in the absence of a threat. We are never at that ease because this fear is self made, but it's not completely fraudulent. It's coming from something. And that's where the medicine goes. It's, well, let's find out where it's coming from. What is this thing that we fear? And I think for all of us, it's death. I mean, that's why death is such a huge part of the medicine. Where's the fear? Let's address it. Let's find out what's impeding our perfection, and let's explore it. And let's battle it out. It's not it's not like somebody shows you a flashcard. Okay, here's what you're. Oh, thank you. It's so physiological. It's so cellular. It's your entire being that will go into this battle. Nothing is not part of it. Everything you can muster, which is how it releases the tension and the stress and sometimes the disease and the illness from every cell. It's released and it's squeezed out by the hand of God, who just grabs you by the midsection and starts bashing you against the rocks. That's what's needed. I mean, if somebody said there's a medicine that heals your soul, how do you think it's going to work? It's not like popping a Xanax and then boom, no more concern, everything's good. No, 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 no. It's authentic. If there's an impediment to the perfection, we will address it. And these run deep. These impediments were starting to be constructed as soon as you were conscious of the world around you. Everything you think you know is built around this fear because you're trying to justify and explain all of it. Everything that you're doing needs justification because none of it's necessary. So the more you're doing, the more you're in this I'm succeeding, I'm the leader, I have the power, the control. The further you are from reality and the more laughable you are. And the harder it will be for you to accept this reality. I think there's a lot of happy people on this planet who make no waves. They're at peace. There's no point in posturing. And I mean, everyone you know who is obscenely wealthy has stepped on throats to get there. Maybe not every single one. Maybe somebody had an invention and the royalties came in and that's it. But it's rare in my experience. And I've bumped shoulders with a lot of wealthy people in my business life. And I don't know any that are happy. And I don't know any that I want to hang out with. I don't want that energy. I don't want to be around them. And they may be able to put together the image for the video and the photo and the content to convey this leadership quality. People respond to that, but it's the old Western facade. It's completely propped up. It will not survive any scrutiny at all. The reason it survives is because there is no scrutiny. They come at it with this energetic force that they don't want to be scrutinized. They will not tolerate being scrutinized. So they surround themselves with the types of people who just believe what they're told. There's a lot of people like that. And those people are doing that because of their fear. And it's hard for them to accept this reality because look at what they are. They have to they have to see that to get to step one. And it can be done. It's not impossible, but I understand it's difficult because I was not a good example of a happy human, which is my metric for success. And it's never going to be changed. Are you at peace or not? I don't care what you can do or how much money you can generate. None of these things are carry any more weight than a sheet of paper that the money's printed on. They're not significant. Money isn't real. It's it's a reservoir of energy is what it is. And all these wealthy people with all this energy sitting in an account getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it just goes to show they don't know what they are. They don't know what to do. You sometimes you see someone who starts to earn money quickly and they don't know how to behave. All they know how to do is to spend money to show people around them that they have it, but they don't know what to buy. They don't know how to judge or identify something worthwhile or the value of something. Everything they do is based upon what somebody else is telling them. I'm going to buy art. Well, this person will tell me what to buy. I'm going to buy really good furniture. Well, this person will tell me what it is. They can't see any of it. It's it's really pathetic. But they'll never have anybody say that, or they'll never believe that. My trips into the medicine have been difficult, but I don't know that there's a spectrum or a comparison that it's more difficult to someone else or less difficult to someone else. I don't know that. I watch other people's journeys into the medicine and they're different than my own. Some people talk about it, some people don't. Some people just become happy, some people don't. Some people get deeper and deeper into the mess. I I've seen people, you know, the power of this medicine is real. So if someone encounters it and senses that, it sees the power, feels it, and then they bring their loved ones who need it. And I've seen men, usually men, brought in by a loved one and said, we're going to help you. And it gets dark. It gets real dark. You can see them coming down the hill multiple days in a row, and every day's darker. Every day's worse. Now, Eric, who administers the medicine, he basically is the medicine in my mind, knows what he's doing. And he will guide and instruct and give advice about what that person needs, not because he understands what the medicine is so much as what the healing journey of a human is like. We are not, we I know it's complex and you wouldn't understand, man. I get that, but Eric's done this for thousands of people. He knows the psyche of humans. You may have been raped as a child. You may have served time in prison. You may have been tortured and abused in a very vulnerable period of your life and lost your sense of self and all of your identity. That's possible, but that's not unusual. That doesn't make you different. And that's where Eric sits. He knows. I've seen him tell doctors, psychiatrists, we're going to have to do this a lot. We're going to have to do this at least 10 times in a row before we get to where we need to get to because of your schooling, your education, your rigor of your psyche, and the love that you have for the people that you're trying to help. You've taken all that on unsuccessfully because you don't understand what's going on, but you've really dedicated yourself to this as much as a human can, and you've piled a big pile of shit on top of yourself. And we got to dig through all of it, even though a lot of it's not even about you. We don't even know about you yet. Seen men come in with PTSD, they were in combat, and then they got into the family business, and the wife, the kids, and the alcohol, and the drugs, and the unhappiness, and the violence, and the rage, and the suicidal ideation, and this pattern. You see a man who looks built like a warrior, and he can play that part hanging around the dinner table at night drinking. He will not look like that when he comes down the hill after taking the medicine. He will look like something else. The fear will be pouring out of his eyes. He won't be able to make eye contact with anyone. And it may take 3 times, 4 times. It may take 30 times. The medicine will give him what he needs. And it's usually more than you think you can handle, but it's always just scratching the surface. There is nobody who's gone in and out of the medicine and understands it and says, oh, I've been there. That is not a thing. If I was going to take the medicine right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you anything that's going to happen when I blast off or blast in. You're going to be inhaling slowly and deeply the biggest breath of your life, hopefully. You will not exhale. You will keep the medicine in. Let it work. Let it do what it's doing. And you won't even be conscious of an exhale. The next thing you know, you will be coming back to earth and it will look a little different and you will feel different and you will be different. And it's scary as hell because it's unknown. But the motivation outside of this perpetual improvement in everything about my life and myself, my strength, my vitality, my outlook, my optimism, my energy, my creative ability, my success in all the relationships in my life. Outside of all that is this faith, this knowledge, this wisdom that this is right. It's the truth. It's real. It's the only thing that's real anymore. And that's what gets you up the hill. That potential to change. And it's such a, I mean, especially considering the way our society is structured. And this goes back to the Romans, you know, the legal infrastructure. It was legal contracts, liability, lawsuits. These things were in ancient Rome, and they were with the conquistadors when they conquered South America. Everything was about writing the contract and the agreement, signing. Like the whole thing is based on that legal system, this experience in life. So to get into something that is going to change you, and nobody knows how, we would call that a liability. No one's going to sign that contract. You're going to get sued. That's the medicine rebuts everything about the world we're in. Everything. Starting with this notion that, yeah, you're going to change. And I don't know what the change is. Nobody does. Well, that's so risky. How dare you? And it's scary because I'm happy. I have a family. I have a business. I have a house, a reputation. Okay. You think you're not changing? You think you're the same thing you were when you were born? Let's watch you interact with your mother or father. Let's watch you interact with your sibling. Let's watch you interact with your best friend from childhood. Let's watch you interact with your boss. Let's watch you interact with your spouse. Let's watch you interact with your children. Let's watch you interact with the teller at the bank. Is this all the same person? You had that accident a couple years ago. People still whisper about it because it changed you. That you have to whisper when someone changes. We think we're a fixed thing in a fixed location. None of that is true. It never was true. And this whole construct on top of you that's preventing you from seeing what's actually happening and seeing what you actually are is blocking it. That's the construct. You're this. You're defined. And you have to be because everyone has to know how to treat you. Coming into a job interview. Oh, well, this is a guy interviewing for this position at this salary with this experience and this education and this network of friends and colleagues. Now we know what we're dealing with here. But you don't. Oh, that's a fabrication. You have no idea what that person is. Watch that person go into the medicine and talk to them in the 10 minutes when they come out. Find out who they are. There's nothing more fascinating than this. And then to be able to have everybody do this, bunch of strangers usually, everybody there for their own reason. You know, the PTSD soldier for one reason, the hippie who heard about a really powerful drug that blows your mind. He just wants to check it out. The mother who lost her daughter, the father who is dying of cancer and hasn't told anybody yet. All these people go through this earth shattering experience, this nuclear explosion of the soul, and they breathe it in afterward. They acclimate to this new knowledge. They look at the world around them, they think about themselves, they wonder, what is this? Where was I? What am I? How is this real? Who is this man who gave me this medicine? Is he a regular man? So some of my favorite things about Eric, and there's a lot, I think my most favorite thing is his integrity and his character. No one is ever more vulnerable than when they come out of the medicine. We could tell you things, we could manipulate you, we could get things from you, we could take from you. You are a newborn baby, and Eric doesn't say a word unless it's something that can help. You need more, or you have a lot of anger, or his insights are spectacular. In my own world, it was the first one was just a whiteout. I inhaled, I got myself to show up and I inhaled, and the world exploded. And then the next thing I knew, I was coming back to my body, and Eric was being very kind to me. And he was patting me in the back and he said, "You let go of a lot of shit, my friend." And I walked around the corner, and there was my friend Becker, who told me about this experience and his recommendation. Because of who he is, I trusted it, even though the fear was paralytic. And he had this look on his face of concern. And we hugged, and he said, "All those noises coming out of you, man, I didn't know what I was going to see when you came around the corner." And I said, "You don't have to worry about me ever again." And I meant it. I still mean it. Anyone who knows me, please know the joy I have experienced in this life is more than my fair share. I am happy to transition into what's coming. I love myself. I love this experience, whatever it is. I don't know what's really coming. I have a sense, which is miraculous, that I have a sense of death. Of all the adventures I wanted, this is the one. I didn't even dare to dream this, and I have it. But I don't know how it works. I don't understand what's going to transpire. I'm going to have to face that moment. And then that next moment, I don't know. I feel like I have a sense of the first moment of when I enter it, and a sense that it's benevolent. It's okay. It's all okay. Nothing can hurt you ever. It really can't. You may have some pain and some suffering and some angst and some this stuff that the God talked about when he came back and he said, "You can experience pain. It's a treasure because it's temporary. It goes away. It leads to something else. Everything does." So this final journey into actually never returning to this form, yeah, I'm sweating right now thinking about it. My heart is racing because I know it's coming. And I still want to know more. I want to understand, even though I never will. That's my resistance right now. That's my fear. I'm afraid of dying, and I want to understand it more. I'm not afraid of the way I used to be, but the fear is real. If you grab someone and you threaten to take their existence from them, they will be afraid. I don't know that Eric would be afraid. I don't know. I know he's had some adventures in his life. I know he had a gun pulled on him. He was the victim, Mexico City, gang of cartel thugs, and him and his wife, and machine guns in the face. And they took his vehicle. And he told me the story. And he said, as soon as that barrel was pointed in his face, he went right into the toad. It's where we go anyway. And once you feel the toad, if you go and you smoke a bunch of marijuana, or you take some LSD or some mushrooms, or or you get really frightened, like you will recognize this place. It's the only destination that's not here is this beautiful light. You can go into it. You can go into it anytime you want, which is very pleasant compared to the tumult of taking the medicine. That requires anticipation, expectation, travel, standing up, looking at Eric, who's looking back at you like a mirror. So you only see what you are. You won't see anything. You won't see Eric. He will be like that the entire day. At dinner, he'll be Eric. You know, you can make him laugh. You can say something that angers him. He's Eric. But when he's working, he's your guide. It's like when he walks you through what's coming, whether that's making small talk or asking you direct questions. I don't know how he does what he does, but it's a process. And then he'll have to figure out how much medicine to give you. And I usually don't pay attention to much of this. One, because I trust him. Two, because it just heightens my fear to think about what's coming. I've had him dump out a huge amount. I'm like, oh, I didn't even want to see that. And it's going to be hard. It doesn't get easier ever, but that's why we're here. And I had to have that mantra in my head the last time I went, the fourth day, the fourth and final day walking up that hill. I knew the earth was going to split in half for me. There was no doubt. The first 3 days were building up with extreme intensity to soften my beaches. That's a phrase they used in World War II before D-Day. It was a whole day of just carpet bombing this area before the men on foot showed up, softening the beaches. That's what the first 3 days were. And I knew it. So I walked up that hill, having decided to go anyway. And I just said, bring the heavy, bring the heavy. That's why I'm here. It might sound courageous, but I didn't look courageous. I had to say that to myself to get up the hill. And when he pours out the medicine, usually on his pant leg, he's sitting in the lotus position. He'll has a little white bottle and he's pouring some out, and he'll stop and he'll listen. Sometimes for 10 seconds, sometimes for 5 minutes. He's listening. There's evidence of what's about to occur. One time I was down in his house in Mexico, and he has dogs. He loves dogs, and there was three of them. And as soon as I walked into the ceremony spot, they went nuts, howling, barking, running circles around me, not attacking me or anything aggressive. They were just energized by something to the point that he had to have them removed. He had to have his wife take the dogs away. And I looked at him, and I don't, what's happening? And I said, I guess the dogs sense something that I don't. And he said, the dogs sense what's about to come out of you. And I can't explain how difficult it is to hear that and to stay on the path, to show up anyway. There's a lot of experiences I've had, and it's usually in Mexico. I don't know why, but it's just me and Eric down there. Chad is a facilitator, and when we do it here in the US, and the dynamic's a little different. I've come to love that. I resented it at first, like, who is this guy? And I've come to love it and cherish that man and that dynamic. But when it's just me and Eric sometimes, and I live down there, so I can come and go when I needed to. This was when one trip into the medicine would take months to muster the strength for and months to digest. Whereas now it's more of a repeated, usually 3 or 4 in a row. I think four is what Eric prefers. I think four, and some people do more, but it softens the beaches. And down there one time, this yellow-headed blackbird, that's the actual name of the bird. It's not really supposed to be down in the tropics of Mexico, but it was, and it landed on a branch right to my left shoulder. So prominently that Eric and I both looked at this beautiful, bright yellow and black bird, who then looked at me and let out a blood curdling call that rattled my bones. The fear that I felt from that sound, I'll never be able to explain, but it was for me. And I went in anyway. After that sound, it flew right between Eric and I, and we watched it. And then our eyes met. And I said, Eric, I think that bird was here for us. And he said, no, that bird was here for you. And then he packed up the pipe. And that was a big one. They're all big ones, but there's been some that have animal involvement. One time I stepped on a scorpion barefoot, got stung right before I had to go into medicine. And I thought I was going to die. I don't know anything about scorpions. I just knew that they're deadly. So after we took a picture of it and Googled it, the scorpion survived. I was proud of that. We let it free. And I mean, it looked like it wasn't going to kill me. It looked like I was going to be okay, but there was a lot of pain. Then I got up the hill to see Eric and I told him what happened. And he started laughing. And he said, scorpion is good medicine to mix with toad medicine. And in we went. And boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Wow. That day, I came out laughing hysterically. I had been told the cosmic joke. God whispered to me the truth. And I couldn't stop laughing at myself, at the joy, at the bright colors, at the temperature, at the blue sky. It was all not a joke with, at someone's expense, although it is at my own expense. It's the it's the beauty and the fact that it doesn't matter. What if none of it matters? That is a point of liberation. And I don't think you can read it in a book or listen to some clown in an audio file explain it. I don't think that carries any weight at all. But when you feel it, you will never be what you were again. You will continue to change, but you will revolve around a different truth forever. None of it matters. And that makes it somehow more meaningful because now I can manage it. I'm zoomed out. I can play with it. I can do whatever I want. And what is the ultimate consequence? What is the highest stake? Eternal bliss. More interaction with this force that created everything. That is where we go. That is what the medicine is, and with no other way to describe it. It's God. It's your creator. And it's terrifyingly perfect. The only wisdom you can really come away with is that it's all okay. And okay is not a really good word. It's all perfect, including you. It doesn't mean that it's all foretold and you can't have a bad day or not see the beauty. I don't consider that that your life's being wasted because you've been a miserable prick your whole life. Like, yeah, you could be joyous and loving and powerful and healthy and vital, but you're not being punished because you didn't. It doesn't matter to anyone or anything, but it's all available to you. That's the wisdom, is that it's up to you. That's the accountability. That's growing up. This is my world. I've created this mess and I want it to be something else. This is what I want. Now that I see how terrified and puny and weak I've been, I understand that there really isn't anything to fear. And I know what I want. And I'm going to go get it. No one can stop you. There's not a force in the universe that can stop you, but you have to know what you want. For me, I had to go into the fear. I had to see it. I still do. Next time I go in, I will go back in. I will probably panic at some point, and I may suffer an excruciatingly slow, painful death as I battle it. That's possible. That happens a lot. My fear is justified. Now it could probably be different. It could probably be more pleasant if I could not fear. But once you get in, this is life and death. You're going to be afraid. I believe that. It's okay. You're not going to ruin it. You're not going to do it wrong. You're going to get what you need, and you're going to be awakened, enlightened, polished, revived. My last time I had the sensation that I molted. I shed what I was, and I came back bigger and brighter and shinier forever. And having faced that and done that, I could see what I want very clearly. There wasn't a thought process, a realization. It was just there in front of me. I want inner peace. It's all I've ever wanted. It's why I struggled so much when this world would try to kick me and get in my way. And it was my response and my reaction to this world that stole the peace from me. The world didn't take it. The world can't. No one can take this from you. You give it up. You sacrifice it. You decide you're not worthy. And you may have to get into that in the medicine. Are you worthy of perfection and joy and peace forever? Are you allowed to have that? This goes deep. This is something most people would say, hell yeah, give me that. You just wait. It goes deep, these feelings that you have. And the deeper you dig into them, the more authentic those feelings can become. You can allow those feelings to happen. Watch a baby get uncomfortable and angry and throw a fit and then be taken care of and be comfortable and take a nap. Watch a wild animal get attacked, fight for its life, struggle, escape, flee, survive, and then relax. That is what feelings are. But we've created such a constructed mess, we can't identify them anymore. We think they're emotions. That's what we call them. Something else. It's one step removed from the actual feeling. Just like the money is one step removed from the wealth, the menu is one step removed from the food, and happiness is one step removed from what people's opinion of you actually is, or what you want it to be, or your image. Everything's one step away from reality in your world. until you're in the medicine. And then it's all reality and it's too much. It's too much. It kills you. It kills what you've created. It now it won't feel like it's just killing your thoughts because that's not really what's happening. This is again physiological. This is the cellular level. This is your organism healing. Everything. We don't understand what it is. There's electricity firing off in your brain. We don't know what we are. And you won't be able to explain it after you take the medicine, but you will feel it. You will come out feeling it, breathing, existing, reflecting. You'll be a prime human, maybe for the first time in your life. In order to get here, you have to change. And there's not a lot of good and bad labels on this journey that you're taking. You won't be able to identify things with your clear labels and your black and white thinking and your, oh, I'm not allowed to contradict myself. None of that will survive the intensity of this journey. What survives is an awareness that change is what you are. And a big one is coming, a real big one. And you'll be here for it. No one else is going to have your death for you. You're here for it. It's your transition. You will have to endure it. Now, the good news is it's all leading to bliss. Bad news is that doesn't make it easy. Good news is you're equipped. You're designed for this transition. That's what you actually are. Something designed to die. And in a very, very complicated world and a very complex universe. You will never understand the forces at work here, the layers of complexity. They're good and bad. It don't work in this place because you have to have an opinion on those things to label them, and you can't have an opinion on these things that are bigger than anything you can imagine. All the notions and concepts that you are certain of will perish on the first step. You will accept change, and then you will begin to change for real. Soon as you accept that you aren't one thing and you can't control what you really are, then the change will flow. And it might be uncomfortable, but that's you getting in the way of it. Change is pleasure. When you're reflecting and you're basking in the sun and you're rolling around and there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do and you're breathing and you're grateful to be alive, you're changing. You're always changing. And that's why none of this can matter. How significant can it be if it's all undergoing change all the time? What is significant? What are you going to hold on to? What's the important part? It doesn't work that way. It's all transition. It's ephemeral. And it's perfect. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to do anything. But if you can accept that you're worthy of this process, of this phenomenon, then you may find peace. And when you find peace, you won't know what else to look for. There isn't anything else. What else could there be? It's it's a challenging adventure. It's painful at times, it's difficult, it's stressful, it's anxiety invoking. But that's all your response to it. The journey itself is just a gentle float down a river, a slow moving deep water river in the summertime. That's all you really have to endure. But you don't know that. So you're going to mix it up and mess it up and turn it into something else and fight it and resist and lash out and scrap for everything you can hold on to. And the only consistent thing will be the love. And you'll see the love differently than you see it today. You'll be grateful that in this place, that's what is. It's nourishing, it's revitalizing, it's pure energy. And it's the more you have, the more you give, the more you get. It's infinite. That gives you peace. That lets you continue to battle against yourself, to remove the parts of yourself that think there's something to be afraid of. There's something to hold on to. There's something precious, and that means there's something that's not precious. It's all perfect, and it's all in flux.